So, I have relatives in Israel that they're very close with us, and we always argue with each other. I always make fun of him and his family that they're so rough and tough, you know, the whole Israeli macho, yallah, habibi, you know, the whole thing. And he always makes fun of, you know, so you Americans, like, you're so polite and please and thank you and everything, you know, and there's nothing behind it. Just, you know, you're putting it on. So, what do you say? Canadians.
Canadians even more so.
So I want to present tonight that really, you know, yeah, the cultures are extremely fascinating to observe, but what the Torah wants is really both. The Torah wants us to obviously act polite and with manners and treat each other nicely, but we should really mean it. You know, the Israelis, they're rough and tough, but they're there for each other. They have each other's backs through the thick and thin. And us Americans are very polite, and sometimes we're just, you know, want to move on with our own selfish lives. But I heard from Rabbi Kalish, he showed me 2 psukim in this week's Parsha that are really fascinating. So one of them is talks about when a person sees his friend and his donkey has to be unloaded. So the Torah says a person has to help him unload his donkey. That's one of the rules, and today we can apply it to helping each other, you know, when we need help. But the Torah puts in funny words. It says these emotional words. V'chadalta me'azov lo. Are you not gonna help him? That's one example where we see the Torah, which is really kind of, we're used to black and white, giving us laws, what we should do, what we should not do. Do not steal, do not kill, observe the Sabbath. You know, giving us something that the rabbi should be doing from his pulpit. You know, dress it up a little bit, get a little emotional. But the Torah to do that is unique. Another place we see it is it talks about in last week's parsha, where a person who lent somebody money and he takes a security. So the Torah says if you took a security like the person's blanket, his night clothing, make sure that he has it to sleep with at night, and you can take it in the day. If you took his day clothing, make sure to take it, you know, during the night and give it back to him in the day. And then again, we use these. The Torah says these like emotional words. Kihu kisuso levada. This is his only clothing. Hisim laso laoro. It's his cloth for his skin. Bamei yishkav. What will he lie down with? You know, Torah, tell us what to do, and we'll do it. What's this whole emotional part of this, you know, building it up? Leave that to the speechwriters. So I think that we see here, and Rabbi Kalish said a beautiful thought, that we see that when the Torah, especially Parshas Mishpatim, which came right after the Aseres HaDibros, when the Torah is telling us how we need to act between man and a friend, it's a very different way between man and God. When we need to do a mitzvah called Bein Adam L'Chaveiro, we know the Torah is made up of mitzvahs that are Bein Adam L'Makom, between man and his creator, like Shabbos, like kashrus, eating kosher, and then there's mitzvahs that are between man and his friend, such as the 2 examples that I just cited you. It must be that when a person is dealing with his friend, if his heart's not there, if he's not feeling this part of how can you not help him, and if he's not feeling the fact that his friend may be without their clothing that they need, then he didn't do the mitzvah properly. It's not just about doing it and saying please and thank you and going through the motions, it's about feeling it. And with that, I want to show you an example from this coming Yom Tov of Purim, the opposite of what I was saying. And it's a little bit of a joke, but it gives us the lesson. So we know on Purim there are 4 mitzvahs. One mitzvah on Purim is we have to hear the Megillah. Another mitzvah on Purim is we have to have a alcoholic feast. That's a very difficult one for some of us. Another mitzvah on Purim is... What do you say? Another mitzvah on Purim, that's the Mishteh, that's right, very good. Another mitzvah on Purim is that we have to give the food baskets, right? The 4th mitzvah, which is the Gemara talks about, the most important one, is matanot le'evyonim, giving tzedakah to the poor. And the Gemara explains what it means, a poor person, someone who doesn't even have food for a meal. So there was a joke going on in some in a yeshiva of real Talmudical scholars, and a guy tells his friend, he says, you know, Ruvain, I found this year for my matanot le'evyonim, for my 4th mitzvah, of giving to the poor, I found someone who is so poor, he doesn't have not a piece of clothing to wear, not anything to eat. I am going to be b'kayim this mitzvah bigger than anyone else. So his friend tells him, so Shimon tells him, he says, wow, Reuven, you got to tell me who this person is because I want to help him out. Maybe we should start a fund, get an organization. So Reuven says, Shimon, no way. I'm saving him again for next year. So that is an example of exactly how we should not be doing our bein adam l'chaveiro. We don't just do the Torah's mitzvos because it says to do so. We have to feel it. It has to be meaningful to us. So we should be zochet to be mekayim all parts of the Torah, between man and God, between man and friend, with the same enthusiasm and the same heart. Have a wonderful week.